I gave into peer pressure. I had a bad case of FOMO. I needed another reason to start another crochet project. These are all possible reasons as to why I jumped on this bandwagon to make the crochet dress that Taylor Swift wore not too long ago. I knew since that first night that I saw that post with Taylor Swift wearing the crochet dress that it would just blow up and crocheters everywhere would be running to make this dress as quickly as possible. So many people have made this dress already. I feel like I am the last person to make this dress. I know I'm not, but that's the kind of pressure that I felt with making this dress. And I'm a bit disgruntled about it. And that is because I like making different things. I don't like doing what other people are doing. But this dress in particular, as a crocheter, it's the kind of thing where I see it, I can do it, I know I can make a dress, and I want to make it, and I want to see what it's like to make it. So I felt that pressure to make this dress, and so I was a little bit disgruntled about that. But more importantly, this dress, when I was looking it up, I found out that it's from a store, Verge Girl, I think that's how you say it. And the first time that I looked up the dress, they had the price up at 145 Canadian, I believe. And just a few days ago I looked it up again. The price has gone up a little bit. It's now $153 Canadian, which to non-crocheters that might seem like a lot, but to a crocheter that is not a fair price for this dress. Whoever made the dress is not getting paid fairly. You probably know this already, but crochet can only be done by hand. There are no crochet machines. There are knitting machines, but there are no crochet machines, which means that every time you see a crochet item or garment or whatever in a store, it is made by a person with their hands. For me, making this dress is not so much because I wanted to make a dress. There are tons of other things that I could be working on, but I wanted to experience making the dress, and I wanted to share the making of the dress, and I wanted to share with you the amount of time and effort that goes into making a crochet dress. So I want to share how much time it took, the cost of yarn, and the total cost of what the dress should actually be. I'm using yarn that I already have on hand, and I'm going to use $4 for every 100 grams as my base, just for ease of calculation. I know that one of the skeins that I'm going to use, that's how much it costs. So I'm going to use that. And then at the end, I'll have a total of how much the dress is worth. So let's see how it turns out. I couldn't sleep, so I woke up, I think like an hour before I was supposed to wake up, before my alarm, because I was thinking about the dress. I just kept thinking about the colors and just showing an update on it, where I started, or document it for myself, because I might forget some things. I might not write things down as I have done for other projects. So let me show you the yarn. I've got this sort of sage green color. This, I bought a whole bunch of this yarn, I want to say like 15 years ago, because I was going to knit a sweater or something, and I never did. It's been sitting around that long. It's a lightweight category 3 yarn. I've got this sort of mint green color, and this is a Sport DK. I think someone gave this to me. Yeah, I don't remember where I got this, but I mean, the label looks pretty old, and there's no category number on the label, so I'm just gonna go with what it says. It says Sport DK. By the way, I really hope you can't hear the beeping. There's construction in the neighborhood as usual. I feel like our neighborhood has been in construction since we moved. Okay, this, using this pink. And again, this is, I believe this is a category 3 weight, and this was also gifted to me. I don't have a label for it. And lastly, I've got this sort of olive military green color. It's actually called Dublin, and this is a category 2 weight yarn. It doesn't feel like it though. It definitely feels like a lightweight yarn. So these are the colors I chose. And why I chose these colors is I did not have the colors that were on that original Taylor Swift dress. I obviously could have gone to buy yarn in those colors, but I don't want to buy yarn. And no, let me rephrase that. I do want to buy yarn, but I am trying to use up what I have already. I don't want to buy new yarn that I'm just going to end up storing away, so case in point. So I'm trying to use up what I have already, and also the colors in the dress were not, I didn't like that combination, so I wanted to, make it my own in a way. And lately I have been loving the combination of like pinks and greens. So those are the yarns that I chose and the colors that I'm going with, and here is what I have so far. I love this. It makes me think of a garden. So the pressure is on, and I've noticed, random thought, ever since I've been regularly posting on YouTube and on my blog and social media and just starting a project and sharing that project, I have this sort of pressure, I guess, or maybe it's called accountability. And I tend to finish projects that I start now instead of just starting a project and then forgetting about it. Will I finish this project? Most likely. Will I have enough yarn to finish the project? I don't know. It's possible I will run out and I will need to incorporate some other color that I wasn't planning on using. So I'm gonna go get more coffee and work on this dress. Good morning. So this is where I ended up last night with the dress. I'm going in a different direction. The original design of the dress is this giant, boxy, shapeless micro dress that I'm not a big fan of the style. I have curves, and wearing shapeless dresses like that they do not complement my figure. So I prefer wearing not so boxy, baggy shaped garments. So with this dress, my version is going to have some shaping to it. It'll be an experiment for sure. And also the sleeves, I might do something different with the sleeves. I like the idea of those like long baggy sleeves like in the original dress. But in practice, the number of times I have got myself caught in a door handle where food just ends up getting all over my sleeves. Those are the kind of moments that just really, really irk me. So I want to avoid that. So I'm going to do something different with the sleeves. I'm thinking with the hem, I'm going to probably work some additional rows, and I wanted to also time myself. I do want to make sure I'm documenting how long it takes to do all the different rows. Okay, hopefully I will not get performance anxiety. This is my second cup of coffee, so I am more awake than I was a little while ago. All right, let me get my stopwatch. All right, and we're off. This is not a race to see how fast I can crochet. This is to see how long it actually takes me to crochet one row. Okay, it took about 4 minutes to do one short row, which is actually not bad. I think that's a pretty good pace. I mean, I was very focused on crocheting. It was comfortable crochet pace. So far, I think this has been about an hour and a half of crocheting, of dedicated crochet time on this dress. The dress, I was in the parts of the dress that are just not too exciting. Nothing too exciting happening, although I did do a part here in the underarm area where I tried to do some shaping. So this was an experiment, and I might, if I end up making a tutorial of some kind, I don't know if I want to do a tutorial for this dress, but if I do a tutorial, I'll probably make a top. I'm not going to do an entire dress again. What I did was, from these stitches from the top, from the underarm area to this stitch marker, I worked single crochets instead of double crochets. And then I continued in double crochet to the bottom. So that's how I did the shaping on the side, just to bring it in a little bit and not have it be so boxy. Then I started working on the back part, and I did the same thing with trying to do some shaping in the back. So I did the same thing, working single crochets down to the same level as the armhole area. So in the mid back almost, and so down the center of the back piece I did the single crochets and then continued on to double crochet. So that way it's not going to be, I am a pear shape also, so that way it's going to be more narrow in the top, and then it'll widen out in the bottom to accommodate for my wider bottom. So that's the back that I'm working on right now, and I just started working on the second shoulder for the back. But so far the dress is coming along. It's working up faster than I expected. It is still taking quite a bit of time, but at the same time it's not like, oh my god, this is going to take forever. I don't have that feeling with this dress, thankfully. I have had that feeling with other projects that I've worked on where I'm like, when is this going to be done? But it might be because of the colors and the changing of the colors, and then it's just working up very, very quickly. Like this granny stitch works up quickly, so I really like it, and I want to use this stitch more in other projects. I don't know why I haven't in the past. I just kind of always stick with the regular granny square stitches, but the granny stitch is it's pretty fun. There's a lot of things that you can do with this that I want to explore in future projects. The dress is looking shorter than it did before. I thought at first it was a bit too long, so I was like, maybe I need to make this a lot shorter. Now it's really short, too short for my taste. So I'll definitely need to create some kind of extra hem at the bottom. You know what I love? When I wake up early in the morning and all I hear is the sound of heavy rainfall, and it looks so nice and dark and stormy, and I feel so cozy, and I love those kind of mornings. Unless of course I need to go out in the rain, then I don't like it. But this is the kind of morning today that's nice and rainy and cozy, and I don't have somewhere to go right now. I am going to continue the coziness and work on this dress and show you how far I've gotten. So this dress is now big enough that I'm kind of wearing it as a blanket right now, which is perfect because it's a little bit chilly in this room. So it's nice, I can cozy up in the dress while I work on it. But so far I finished the back with both of the shoulders. I have the front also completed, which I already showed you. I've started on the side seam area. Going to continue doing that and adding the shaping to this side, and then I can sew the side seam area together, and then the main part of the dress will be done. And then I'll have to start on the sleeves. Before I start the sleeves, I might actually start to weave in some of these ends, just so that it starts to look a little neater. Then I can also add a border around the neckline. I don't know how I want to do that yet, but I definitely want to round out the neckline a little bit. It's already somewhat roundish, but I just want to make it a little neater. So I might even try to put in some maybe some decreases just to tighten things up a little bit. It's working up somewhat quickly, and I can see myself finishing the main part of the dress hopefully today, maybe even start on the first sleeve, but that might be being a little bit ambitious, but we'll see how far I get. It is still morning. I have had my 2 cups of coffee, so I am caffeinated, and I am good to crochet for a little bit longer before I need to get on with my day. I have finished crocheting the main part of the dress, and I just have these clips in place so that I can try it on. All right, so it's very short. I'm gonna need to add a few rounds to the bottom. But yeah, after I sew this side seam here, I think this is gonna look really good. But yeah, the length, like, it's very short. So I have the main part of the dress is done. I've started making the first sleeve, and so far I am good with this length. Now there is one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, and that is that I don't know if I have enough of this mint, this light mint color. I don't think I have enough of this yarn left. I know I have a worsted weight version, I think. I might have to incorporate that, but that is the joy and challenge of making something with yarn that you have on hand without going out to buy more yarn for a specific project. It almost feels like I'm slowing down and not making as much progress, and I thought, you know, after like I finished crocheting the main part of the dress, and I thought, okay, now it's like it's gonna finish up a lot faster and I'll have the sleeves done in no time. But somehow the sleeves are taking a while. I finished one sleeve so far. It's really big, and I was hoping to do like short rows. I was thinking maybe I could do short rows so that it kind of tapers, but I didn't think of it before I started working on the sleeves, and I only thought of it after I had almost finished this sleeve, and this took a while to do, so I didn't want to frog everything and start again. So I'm gonna try to figure something out with the wrist cuff area. So now I just need to start on the second sleeve. Remember early on when I said that I was running out of this mint green color? I don't have enough. And I tried using a worsted weight yarn that I had that I thought was kind of close, but it did not look great, and I hated how it looked, so I took that out. But thankfully I did have some other yarn. I have this Friends Cotton 8/6 from Hobby, and the shade is actually very, very close. Actually, before I show you the comparison, like that Hobby cotton yarn is in this sleeve. Can you tell which row it is in? Let me know in the comments if you can tell which row that yarn is in. But it is worked into this sleeve, and I think it's very close, like very similar, right? Like I'm really shocked. It's just obviously this is cotton and this is all acrylic. So there is a difference in the fiber, and that's fine. I just put it in for 2 rows of the sleeve just to make up for it. So I'll be doing the same thing with the second sleeve. As for the dress itself, I started to sew. So I've got the 2 shoulders sewn together. And then I just need to do the long side seam. I think I might add a row of the green just to bring it all together so that I don't have this mint green yarn going directly to the pink, if that makes any sense. That's just color patterns that I just wanted to kind of come full circle in a way. I started weaving in the ends for the top part of the dress. Those are all done, thankfully. That took a while. And then I just have the bottom. So there are quite a few more ends that I need to weave in. And the same thing with the sleeves. When I do both of them, there are quite a few ends that I will need to weave in for both the sleeves. It's been a few days since I updated on this dress. I am still working on it, but it's been hot. It's summer. I was at a cottage with my family for a few days, so haven't really been focusing on the dress. But so far, I did sew all the seams. I weaved in all the ends. That was an ordeal, but I weaved in all the ends, and I attached one of the arms. I added the arm, and I sewed the arm seam as well. I might try to cinch it together somehow and do like an afterthought ribbed cuff. And then I still need to add a border around the neckline because it is a little bit baggy around the neck, and it does kind of go off the shoulder a little bit, which I know the original dress does that, but I don't really want that to be the design for my dress. For my dress, I do want it to come in a little bit and not fall off, because I also hate having to like constantly feel like I need to pull like the shoulders. I really hate when like my bra starts to slip off my shoulders, or like a strap starts to slip off my shoulders, and I'm just constantly rearranging things. And I feel like that's what would happen with this dress, is that I would feel it start to slide, and I just want to like, just subconsciously, it would bother me. So I will be doing something so that the dress kind of stays secure on my shoulders. But yeah, to be honest, it's been pretty hot, and working on this dress feels like I'm just constantly holding a blanket in my lap. So I am not focusing on it too much, and I do have other projects that I need to work on as well. So it's slow going, but it'll get done. It'll get done when it gets done, and it is still summer, and I'm not planning on wearing it in the summer anyway. It is way too hot to wear this dress, so this is gonna be a cold weather dress for sure. It's done. Oh, this dress took a while. I mean, I said this already. It's basically making a blanket. So if you've ever made a crochet blanket, you know that blankets take some time to make. So yeah, this is a giant sweater dress. I was wearing it a couple of nights ago just to try it out and see how it fit, and if I would need to make any adjustments, which it's kind of too late to make any adjustments at this point, but I love how it looks and how it feels. It's very comfortable. It's just, it's been hot here. So it's also not very comfortable to wear right now. So I'm looking forward to when it gets cold outside so that I can actually put this on and wear it. And I already have some ideas of how I want to style it as well. I like the cuffs on the sleeves, and I added a couple of rounds on the neckline, which really brings it all together and smooths out the sort of jagged, sharp corners in the neckline. And then in the hem, I added several rows of double crochet stitches. There are 4 rows of double crochet, so adding these rows gave it the extra bit of length that I wanted in this dress, so I don't feel like I'm just wearing a sweater, but it's a sweater dress now. Now it's long enough for my liking. So now let's try and put an outfit together and hope I don't overheat while I'm showing this to you, but I really can't wait. I really want to show you how this looks. All right, so now that the dress is done, let's do some number crunching. I tried my best to make note of how much time I spent on the different parts of the dress. There were long rows, there were short rows, the side area rows, and then there was also the sewing, the weaving in ends, creating the cuff, the neckline, the hem, all that kind of stuff. So I did try my best to write things down. So here's what I have. I've got 6 hours for all of the long rows. The short rows were an hour and a half. The side area rows, those ones were about 50 minutes or so. So let's say an hour. The sleeves were 5 hours for both sleeves. Total crochet time was 13 and a half hours. Then for, like I said, the sewing and all weaving in ends, that in total was about 3 hours for all of that. So add that to the crochet time. So that brings us up to 16 and a half hours just to make the dress. Now we consider the cost of yarn. So I said earlier it was $4 for every 100 grams. So if we calculate the cost per gram, that's about 4 cents times the 700 grams. And that gives us roughly $30. It's $28, but let's round it up to 30. Then we look at the cost of labor. I mentioned it's 16 and a half hours it took me to make the dress. In Ontario, the minimum wage is $16.55, I believe, but I am not paying myself minimum wage because crochet is a very specific and particular skill. And I think it's fair that it should be more than $16 per hour. So I'm going to pay myself $20 an hour. It's still, I think, pretty reasonable and actually kind of low, but just for the purposes of this experiment, let's go with $20 an hour, times that by the 16 and a half hours that I spent on the dress, and that gives us a total of $330 just to make the dress. Then we add the cost of yarn, and that brings us to $360 just for the dress. And if this was a store, they would need to pay for a photographer, a model, a marketing team, and the space to take the photos and whatever else they need to do, someone to put the photos up on their website and all that kind of stuff. That's not even factored into this cost. This is just the cost of the dress. So knowing all that, would you ever buy a dress or a garment or anything crochet from a store, knowing that it's probably underpriced and whoever made it is not getting paid fairly? If I were any celebrity, let's say if I were Taylor Swift and I had disposable money that I could use to buy clothes, I think I would hire a crocheter and ask them to make me a dress and pay them fairly. But that's just me. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed seeing the making of this dress and the time and effort that goes into making a dress and making crochet garments and items in general. Let me know in the comments if you have made this dress. I'm really curious to know your thoughts on the process and how it turned out for you. I don't have a pattern for this dress because I did write down some things and I might make a top for it. But let me know if you want a tutorial. I won't necessarily make a dress, but I will make the top, including the shaping that I did in the side areas and in the back, and just how I made different parts of the dress. So let me know. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.